Oh, yeah. You know, I don't think people want to work that long. And to begin to spend down the actual principal value, yeah. Now, I'm gonna want, yeah, hmm state of Oregon, and well, you need to enforce the laws of the. I'm going to want my sons living with me, and I would like to speak to Marilyn about some lawsuits. Yes. Now, the First Corinthians, yes, chapter 2. Oh. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you save Jesus Christ and Him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power. Yeah. Now, a lot of people, they don't like how I talk. I know sometimes it sounds like I stutter and I don't enunciate or pronunciate or whatever you want to say about it. Yeah. But let's say I determined not to know anything about you until I had sued you. Now, once I sue you, I'm going to want to know everything about you, and I'd like to sue you today. See, I had determined not to know anything about you until I'm able to sue you, and then I want to know everything about you. Now, I want to use the court system of the United States. I want you to remove the fraud and forgery of protection orders and a dissolution of marriage. Yes. I want to speak to Marilyn, and I want to know what it is that she's experienced because I think it is abusive to use a picture of Susan Bowers. Now, for every time that I find out that you built anything without a permit, I'm going to sue you. It's going to be the theft from the United States Treasury. The actual land underneath all the buildings of the state, yes, belongs to the United States Treasury. I will sue you for every bucket of dirt that you removed without a building permit. These incorporated states, let's see, the Enable Act of Washington State. Yeah. The state only has the availability of the uses above the earth, unless it is permitted by a building department. And for every state that decided, well, I'm the governor, I'm going to have a top secret, you're going to get sued for stealing from the United States Treasury. The United States is owned by the United States Treasury. A lot of those in office, they forget this. Yes. The longest that you can be in office is 8 years. Most of you get to be there 4 years. Now, for you to say, well, we don't need a 100-year bond, it causes you to not realize that you're elected to office in 4 year terms or 6 year terms. Oh, but the United States of America is designed to live for the rest of eternity. So you're a little short sighted in the use of the United States Treasury. See, if the Fed controls monetary policy on the short end of the curve, right, and the Treasury controls monetary policy on the long end of the curve, what happens in the middle from 3 months, yes, Fed funds rate today, yes, to 100 years, that's what the market controls. Now, let's say the federal United States Treasury decided they were going to control that it's 5% on the 100 year, and you reissue those every 6 months. Yes, for Social Security, for retirees, for other nations that want that security. Yes. And then the Federal Reserve Bank, Jerome, Ben Bernanke, Alan Greenspan, Janet Yellen, how are you enjoying? Are you on Social Security? Somehow, yes, as a nation, we got away from controlling the long end of the yield curve. Now, for every 6 months you issue those 100 years at 5%, yes, let them bid up the 50 year. the 30-year, and then let the market decide from Fed funds to 100-year. It could be that the United States Treasury has not controlled the end of the yield curve. Now, Moonskin, you are only there as long as the Trump administration is in power. And considering that we have an election every 4 years, yeah, we should. Well, you thought you were going to be there for the next 100 years? Obviously, you're on. I know. Jerome. The Fed controls the short end, known as the Fed funds rate. The Treasury controls the long end, known as the issuing of bonds. And for every nation that thinks we look stupid,